Hello, welcome. Today we'll be talking about two specific 9mm pistols. We have the Glock 26, well known, well used, and a newer acquisition for me. This is the Smith & Wesson M&P Compact. I have the Pro Series in 9mm, and this is a 9mm version as well. So I've had the Glock for a number of years. I have to say I'm very familiar with it. Glocks have served me well. I've been shooting them for over 20 years. This is a 10-round magazine, so you have 10 plus 1 in this capacity. The Smith originally comes with a 12-round magazine plus 1 in the chamber, so it gives you slightly more capacity, 30% more exactly. However, this gun I purchased used, and it was set up for the mass configuration. So the mass configuration has a 10-round magazine capacity, and so the gun came with its two magazines. One which has the extended base plate, which gives you a little bit longer purchase. You can also purchase and get those for the Glocks, and you can see right here I've done that with the Glock. So a couple of things that are interesting to note. Both are polymer frame pistols, both extremely durable, both very accurate for what the pistol is intended for. In this case, I have some night sights set up on this. I've done some trigger work, basically thrown in a 3.5-pound connector, which makes the trigger very nice. And this gun, in fact, has a really nice reset. So the trigger breaks nice and clean, resets very short but very distinct. And again, extremely easy as you're firing, this pistol to get that nice clear trigger break. The Smith & Wesson I just picked up recently, and this again was a mass compliant gun. It did have the safety disconnect or magazine disconnect, which I have since removed because that removal of that part really helps the gun quite a bit. But the trigger is very stiff, and unlike the Glock, you really have to press it through. But again, a nice reset, not quite as firm as the Glock, but fairly short and easy. It does have this quite a bit of trigger take up. Again, not a bad thing in a defensive carry pistol. So other than the trigger, for my small hands, the ergonomics of this gun are superior. What I like when I grasp this pistol is my thumb, the web of my hand gets very high, right up, right immediately. It just sort of fits. It almost, for me, is just a natural fitting pistol to my hands. With the magazine in, you can see, again, with my small hands, that's a perfect package. It just fits great, very easy to manipulate, and just the right size. The Glock, of course, has a slightly different angle, and for me, although I've been shooting them for years and years, it doesn't feel quite as nice. And again, this is purely subjective, not a knock on Glocks. I own many of them, and I think they are fabulous, fabulous handguns. So what I do know is that for me, this magazine extension makes a difference. And here is the conventional way. And again, you don't have much of a grip right down there. There's just not a lot. And I have small hands, so you guys with big hands makes it even tougher. But again, that's fine. It's very concealable. It works. Now, the Smith, in comparison, let's take a look at this. Even with its magazine, I still, at least it's subjective, but I am able to get a little bit more of a purchase on it. So when I pick up the gun and I get a firing grip on the gun, my finger is not quite like it is on the Glock. So grab the Glock and you can see my finger is just falling off. So the distance between here and the bottom of the gun and the angle of it is slightly different. And that difference does make a difference in terms of the way in which it fits your hand. So that is one distinct change from the Glock. Both pistols will take larger magazines. So in the Smith & Wesson, I mean larger magazines, larger high-capacity magazines. So the Smith & Wesson magazine, this is one for my M&P Pro Series, of course fits real well, no problem, and it goes right in. Obviously it extends a little bit, but from a standpoint of shooting the gun or holding the gun, that's no problem for me. That feels really good, very natural. So you carry this gun and you had to use it, and you had your 12 or 13 rounds in the gun, you used them, and you come up with another 17 rounds capacity. That's a real nice thing. The Glock will do the same thing, of course. You can use the larger Glock magazines, and in this case I just pulled this out because it's in my Glock 19, and this is a 15 round magazine for the Glock 19, which I carry quite a bit, and so it was handy, so I just grabbed it. But again, same type of thing, it will work with that. So now I've got in a small package, I've got the Glock. Now, one thing that I feel, and it's very difficult to see, and again, maybe it's purely subjective, but if you look at the distance, and I actually did measure this with a micrometer, and of course I can't remember off the top of my head what it is, but you can see there's just a slight difference in size. The Smith & Wesson is ever so much thinner, at least with the small backstrap, which I have on there, and for me that is a perfect fit. The Glock, again, feels like a Glock, and great, I know this, I've shot tens of thousands of rounds through Glocks, so that feels like home to me. But the Smith, from the ergonomics of it, boy, that fits my hand great. Get it right in there, got a good purchase on the gun, feels very good, very easy to manipulate. Again, these are the stock Smith sights. I'm not crazy about them. I do prefer an actual block sight, and that is because when you do malfunction drills or malfunctions one-handed, this edge allows you to get that on a hard piece of something, whether it's your clothing, your boot, or whatever. It's very easy to cycle the slide that way. The Smith is designed, I guess the concept was that low drag here. You don't want it to get caught on anything. However, if you try to work that, it is very difficult for it. And again, maybe not a deal breaker to everyone, but certainly not what I want in a defensive pistol. So I'll eventually swap out these sights. Takedown, the Glock is a little easier. In terms of totally field stripping the gun, huge kudos to the Glock. You pop these out, you pop the slide off. You've got 1, 2, 3 pins that you pop and punch. You just punch those out. Everything else take down. You can take it down literally within 2 minutes to clean any single part. Big advantage to the Glock. Smith & Wesson, again, you lock the slide back. If I didn't have the safety disconnect in there, there's a little thing I have to push. I then have to rotate this, again, sort of like the SIG. And as I do that, then I release the slide and I pull it off. But you can see it's not as easy for me anyway. Again, I guess what you know, as with the Glock here, and again, we just push this guy down. And I'm going to actually move my hands over here so I can do it, because I've got a slight handicap with my left hand. It's not particularly strong. Much easier to take down, and again, you can totally strip this. With the Glock, it has this sort of dual cam spring, plastic underneath, but dual cam, which is some people feel mitigates recoil a little bit. The Smith, on the contrary, has a steel piece, or some steel look-alike anyway. That extra weight does help with muzzle flip. It helps control that. It puts more weight to the front of the gun. That's an advantage to Smith, in my opinion. I think Smith has really learned from the great things Glock does, and has really built a pistol in their M&P series that is, in many ways, superior to what Glock has done so far. And again, nothing against Glock, love Glocks, would love to see Glock continue to evolve their pistol, but particularly with regards to the ergonomics of the gun. So again, that's the quick thing. We'll actually do some review of these guns on the range to give you some idea of the way in which they function and feed, and both great guns. Can't recommend them enough. So we have, again, Glock 26, Smith & Wesson, MP Compact, Great gun. Glock, also outstanding gun. Can't think of anything else to say other than if you don't have one of these guns, you need to go buy one. Ideally buy both and shoot them. So, good stuff. Thanks for watching, and I hope you'll subscribe to the channel.